Okay.
Okay, we are live in Live in Color. We are live. Yes, good morning, everybody. Hope all is well in the internet world, in trading world. Hope all is well in E2T land, in the Twitterverse, in Facebook world. We're in all the places. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at one time. Ooh, ooh, dun, dun, dun. We're here. We are here. Good morning, everybody. Hope y'all are doing okay this morning. In our studio, in the studio, we have Jamie, the techie trader. Jamie is my right hand dude. He hangs out with me and puts up with all of my antics, bad antics, because all my antics ain't good. Just so y'all know. I mean, I know that I'm lovable and adorable, but I don't think Jamie would say I was lovable and adorable every day because I can be a lot. And he wouldn't say that out loud because he might. If he wasn't talking to me, he might say this stuff out loud, but I don't know. He might say it to somebody else. He might not say it to me. He just does stuff to me like, ma'am. Yeah, that's what I get. You know I ain't lying. You know I ain't lying. Yes. Okay. So good morning, Janae, and good morning, Tanya. It is definitely Friday, and it's OPEX Friday. Not only is it Friday, it is the third Friday of the month, and the third Friday of the month causes all kinds of stuff. Okay, we're gonna help you. I'm gonna mute you while you do all of that. Okay, at least I'm gonna try. It didn't mute you though. Oh, there we go. While you get your live groups, I'm gonna leave. When you're ready, you can unmute yourself. Can't you unmute yourself, or do I have to unmute you? Can you unmute yourself? Do you
I
know?
can unmute me. What's up?
Oh, that's good. I was muting you when you was, losing a lung over there.
I was laughing, not coughing.
I know, I know. Okay, here we go. LL, this is Tiva. Good morning, TJ. I have Woosah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Okay, y'all see that the VIX is at 15.46. Do y'all see that the VIX is a little low? Yeah, I know I ain't lying. Once you hear ma'am, something happened. Yeah, yeah, ma'am. Yeah, because I can't even be called my name. I've just got to be called ma'am, which is something that you call strangers who have like, listen here, buddy. That's how that ma'am sounds. When somebody says, listen here, buddy, we know it's on and popping. When the person says, ma'am, then yeah. Anyway, the VIX is at 15.48. So it's down a bit as we see. It does say it's 0.25, but listen, we were in the 20s earlier this week, and now we're at 15.48. But we do know that the market has definitely hit a nice little bullish pop over the past several days. CPI and PPI were good. Unemployment and retail sales came in good. And the market has decided it was good, ready to rock and roll. And that's what it has done, is rocked and rolled and taken some of my trades right on with it, right? I think I might have determined that some of my 1 day iron condors, I made them off during the week of like CPI and PPI because stuff that happens before day in the morning, before market opens in the morning, those things are causing my 1 DTEs to go awry, and that's not what we're after. So I'm gonna have to keep that in mind as I move forward with my 1 DTE, triple Q, XSP, SPX, those guys. I may have to, yeah. You can say yes, ma'am. That's part that you saying yes, ma'am is fine. It's when I'm talking and he just says, ma'am. It's not like yes, ma'am, like yes, okay. No, it's the way. And even though sometimes he's typing, ma'am, he's not even saying it, but I can hear it in there. Yeah. Okay, let's continue our parlay down the pre-market road. Okay. Our new normal for consumers is here. This week's updates from Walmart and retail sales shows the American consumer remains strong, complicating matters for retailers. Yeah, the American consumer has to continue to consume. I think this is the piece that we have that's been a little different. So this is just my take on this, and I could very well be off. The people and the type of people who went through recessions and previous economic events that are big and significant economic events in the past is a different generation of people. So resources were different, and all your resources maybe came through a job, didn't necessarily all come through, multiple streams of income. But people that we're dealing with today, first of all, we are in a consume mentality, which means I want what I want, I'll pay for it on the back end. Plus, you've got people with a different mindset about how they will generate money. So many people, I say the money mindset has shifted, and this could be a good or bad thing in that if I spend the money that I have today, if your mindset is such that I can generate more by way of I'll go sell some chicken dinners, or I'll put some digital products up, or I'll sell my course, or I'll sell my services, or, these are things how you can generate more resources. Where before people may have had the idea that all of your resources had to come through your job. So you had to work more hours to make more money. But that's not the mentality anymore by and large. Okay, because that, of course, ain't everybody. But by and large, people are not, and I'll say people are not necessarily stuck in the mindset of I'm only going to get my money by way of working. And so that in itself can be a good thing, right? That doesn't mean that people shouldn't plan and do, manage their resources and manage their money in the shorter term. Because if you've never experienced recession and what that actually looks like and feels like, then you're not going to know how should you be preparing for that, right? You're not going to know how you should be preparing for that. You got any thoughts on that, Jamie? That mentality?
I like the way you phrase that. Actually, I agree with what you're saying. I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
That's
So
something I
Tanya
gotta
says that's
marry.
why I'm here.
Say it again.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Tanya was saying that's why I'm here. See, that's another thing that we're doing as it pertains to dealing with the stock market. It's the mentality shift that says I'll learn what I need to learn, and then I can start to pull resources out of other areas where I'll use my resources to make more resources. That's a different mentality shift. I know when I was growing up, that's not something that was not in my house, and I'm not saying this everybody's house, but not in my house. It wasn't taught to use your resources to make more resources. It was more use your time to get more resources, which means work more, go to your job more, get a part-time job. That was more of a mentality. That meant I would say that has shifted for a lot of people who generate resources in such a way that mentality has shifted from I'll just work more hours.
I agree with you. I was talking to my uncle, and at one point we were just talking about, like, we got a lot of people in our family, and it's like, let's say we go back 5 generations. We got people who was all talented. They was basically, the rock stars of their generation in the family, but it was always like nobody seemed able to leverage that into more in terms of money. And so, by the time we get to my mom, everybody in my mama's camp, meaning all of her kids, everybody had a day job that they was making money on, and everybody had a talent that they was making money on. But nobody knew to try to, move that into what you're referring to in terms of the cash flow part, where you're taking this money. Because, technically, your side hustle money can be the money you invest to grow some more money. So most of our mentality has been, and I'm just speaking for our family over the generations, most of our mentality has been to either work and or side hustle to save that money, but not necessarily grow it.
Right.
And so, I'm using the 5 generation thing as the way to say, so if nobody in that previous generation knew to flip the script and say, hey, you got to start growing it, That's not something that we would know until we get to now and we have all this information we can access on these
Right.
devices. You need somebody to tell you, hey man, you probably want to go this route now.
Right.
And that's what's needed, is just growing it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Different mindset, different mentality, definitely happening here. Alrighty, so tech stocks are leading the market rally again. SMCI, if anybody's been watching SMCI, it is really doing the doggone thing. So we're going to look at that one this morning because, we want to also keep in mind the trending stocks that we can use to go and maybe we do put credit spreads and we ride them up, or you buy longer term calls and ride them up, maybe longer term out of the money calls. Now, SMCI is going to split here in another month and some change, maybe 6 weeks it's going to split. And it's going to keep doing what it's doing along the way. Of course, there'll be some profit taking along the way, but it may be something that we take note of. You know what, though? And I don't think I've seen SMCI show up on our Peakbot alerts. I got to go check in on that. Okay, stock futures are little changed as Wall Street heads for a winning week. Bayer shares soared 11% after key U.S. legal win against Roundup cancer claims. Oh, Bayer is like the aspirin, 11%. Harris economic plan features new tax cuts, housing incentives, and price gaps. S&P will be closer to 6,000 by year end. Morgan Stanley's Sliman says naming stocks to buy. I saw something yesterday, or might have been today. Somebody posted that Morgan Stanley is the biggest purchaser of SoFi stocks, but they keep giving it a downgrade. So they've downgraded it to $6 as a stock, but they're buying it up. What do y'all think that means? Let's see. I want to tell you that it's only worth $6 so that you'll sell yours and the price will go down to $6. But while they're at $6, I'll keep buying. I'll keep buying it at $6. And then at some point when I've got my fill, I'm going to upgrade this price to something else, and then everybody will rush back in to buy it. Can you say manipulation? That thing frustrates me, but and then I can do about it, right? And then you can do about it, but I guess don't hate the play, hate the game, jump in there and buy some more $6 stocks along with them. But how long do we wait till they decide to pull the trigger and say, let's run it up? So you only wanted that $6 while you buying it. And then after you're done buying it, you're going to run up the bag. SoFi, SOFI. Yeah. Y'all know me. I'm a fan of SoFi. It's definitely a long-term play. It's not like something you're going to buy some SoFi and it's going to pop and run. All right. Definitely not today. I mean, it may, but it ain't going to happen today. It's just going to happen when these people who do the ratings decide they're ready to rate it up to something else. And then it's going to run. Okay. So, the biggest moves, H&R Block, Applied Materials, so that's AMAT, I believe, had earnings. I think it was yesterday after market. Microchip, not sure who they are as far as what their ticker is. And then H&R Block. Okay. These 5 shopping trends are revealing how consumers are spending their money now. Oh, yeah. U.S. crude oil falls more than 2% as Qatar Prime Minister urges Iran to hold off on Israel attack. Trump owns more than 1 million in crypto and made $300K on branded Bibles. Financial disclosure shows. Branded Bibles. Like what brand is on the Bible? I'm gonna move on. Move on, Alyssa. Move on.
His brand is on the Bible. Trump Bibles.
Are you serious though?
I'm pretty sure, knowing him.
Oh, you're pretty sure. I was gonna say, are you sure it says that?
Listen, if it's branded, it has probably got Trump on it. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy. Oh my goodness. About them branded Bibles. Jamie is investing. Wow, this is where family secrets. Okay, Trump cult. He absolutely has Bibles. Is he really selling? Oh, says something. SDZ says yes, he is selling Trump Bibles, MAGA Bibles. Oh Lord, help, heaven help, heaven help. Cause see, that's the kind of. So I'm gonna tell you, there's some stuff you don't fool around with. Some stuff and some people that you don't fool around with, and the Lord is one of them stuffing people. It's one of them stuffing people that you don't fool around with. Because let me, this all spirituality aside, let's just say, if you know all that's talked about the power of God and what he can and can't do, what he has and has not done, let's say if you don't necessarily believe it, but let's say that it is true, would you want to risk it? Let's say it is true. Maybe you don't necessarily fully believe it for yourself, but let's just say there's an off chance that it is true. I personally believe it, but let's just say you don't, but you think there's an off chance that what is being said is true, or what has been said is true. Is that somebody you want to fool up with? I'm just thinking not. That even if I didn't fully believe, I wouldn't want to stand at opposition to a God that sounds like he's very, very powerful. Now, I believe all the stuff that I've read. I believe the Bible. So I think so. But if you didn't, would you want to stand in opposition to a powerful deity as such, even if you had like just a little bit of belief? I just wouldn't want to try that. But there's so many other things to do. There's too many other things to do with your time and energy than to decide you're going to put a Bible out and put your name on it. Ella says God will make Trump a real believer playing around like that. His new name will be Paul one day because he's on that Damascus road. Now that's the truth. Now the Lord knows how to get right at you. He does. Okay, let me keep moving because I'll be down all the rabbit holes. And now that Jamie's here, I'll definitely be off in left field. 8:30 building permits, housing starts. 8:30 is this morning. We've seen that data, and it's 1.4 million. They were anticipating 1.43 million, right? And oh, come on. And but it's at 1.4 million. Housing starts 1.24 million. They thought it would be at 1.34 million. So these numbers are red. It means that we're not building, not as many building permits. We're about 3 million short and about 10 million short on housing starts. This is an indication. This is an indication of where people are as it pertains to housing and building. I know the ones out here by me, they building, but they building mighty slow. They building mighty slow. Okay, 10 a.m. I'm kind of in a rush, but not really. The only reason I want them to keep it moving is because if they sell them for at or higher than the value of my home, then that means my home value will stay up or go up. But if they sell them for lower than the value of my home, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that idea, but we don't know what they're selling them for at this point. At this point, they're just building, or at least they're putting the roads down. Preliminary University of Michigan sentiment, this is coming up at 10 o'clock. It's an orange folder right around 10 o'clock turnaround time. At 1:25, FOMC member Goolsbee will speak. I want to talk about, though, today is OPEX day. Today is OPEX day. What does that mean? OPEX day is the third Friday of every month, right? It's where people will close off their monthly positions and reset new monthly positions. So a lot of volatility happens on OPEX day because people, and it really happens in OPEX week. People are selling, they're closing down their positions, they're looking at what's a good time, what's a good space. And then on Friday, which is today, they may be setting them to start for going forward, right? So the volatility on OPEX day is a lot. It's options contracts. I believe there's bonds. Of course, you got 10-year bonds. You got all the things that happen on a monthly basis that all will happen at this monthly time. So you want to be mindful of that. Jamie, you want to say anything about OPEX while I try to open Thinkorswim because I want to share the option chain thing?
What I'll say about that is I know that we have a tendency to look at the United States mainly, but I would encourage anybody, not that we got free time, but I would encourage anybody in their free time to just sometimes kind of take a look at what's going on with some of these other countries, because all of our finances, country to country, are interrelated because of the gross domestic product. And so countries are always buying and or selling goods, to other countries. And so that stuff ends up playing, into our daily, when we're seeing investing.com and all that other stuff, Forex Factory Calendar, that stuff, it comes into play. But sometimes what's happening with the other countries, you'll even see it on MSNBC or CNBC.com. It'll, say whatever was reported in America, one of those other countries was waiting for that data. That's a thing. So I would encourage people to just, sometimes look at, let's say, the United Kingdom, and just kind of look at what's going on over there and what's impacting them. And sometimes you'll see similarities. Over here we're waiting for the Feds to cut rates, but they ain't waiting for not just our rate cuts, but they looking at rate cuts over there, for their country. And so, with people investing in other countries, including the United States, China owns a whole lot of the United States. It's probably a good idea to kind of check out what's going on in other countries as well. And we can do that very easily. You can use filters on investing.com and, just kind of check out what's going on with some of these other countries.
Gotcha. Very true. Very, very true. Alrighty, so we did talk about what things had earnings yesterday and today. Yesterday after close, we had Applied Materials, AMAT, my H&R Block was yesterday. Renewed Energy was yesterday. CI&T is this morning. Flowers. Those are kind of the ones. Walmart, JD. Walmart had a nice little pop. It pulled back, but it didn't pull back but so far, and it kept on going. Starbucks got a whole infusion of money yesterday as well, and it popped and it pulled back a little bit after earnings, but then it kept on going too. It had a nice little pop. These are the places where yesterday I mentioned Capital Flow on here regularly, right? And the link to Capital Flow is in the comments, but I'm in the description area. I do talk about Capital Flow a lot, and that's because during the day, like about 3:30, a bunch of flow came in for Starbucks. This is what happens. You may be you could use flow in two ways. You can use it to say, I'm in a trade, I believe is doing one thing, and I got it for maybe whatever period of time you're looking at. And if a bunch of flow starts coming in that same window, you then start looking and say, well, if I'm on the call side and a bunch of call flow comes in, then that gives you confirmation that it could continue the way you thought it was going to go. But let's say you're in calls and a bunch of put flow comes in on a stock that you're currently in, then that's where you can say, well, I'm not sure. And I may need to check, my position to see if it's going to do something different. So that's one way to use flow. Another way to use flow is if you're considering something, you're like, I'm kind of thinking I might want to do this. You can check the flow to see if the flow matches up with what you're looking at. Or if you're, trade searching, you want to see where's the big money going right now. You can look to flow. I always talk about capital. You can look to a flow to see, where's the big money going today? Like yesterday, a lot of money was going into NVIDIA early in the day. NVIDIA was moving because a lot of flow was coming in. So that's a way to see, there's a lot of flow going in this area. Let me go and get a piece of the pie, right? Capital Flow. You can look down in the description and you can get the link to go and check out Capital Flow. And I think you can check it out the first month for like half price, which is like $17 because it's only $35 a month. Anyway, let's talk about what Adam has to say. Sir.
Before we move to Adam, can we go back to earnings?
We can.
So on yesterday, after close, the first one at the top is Applied Materials. Just so people are aware, Applied Materials is in the semiconductor space. The best way to describe what they do and why they're relevant is they actually make the machines that make the semiconductors. So what that means is whoever's making the semiconductors is going to them to buy the machines. So when you hear stuff like the CHIPS Act, you'll hear that NVIDIA might benefit or Intel might benefit. AMAT is going to benefit too because they're going to be receiving orders from those other people. They gapped up after their earnings. They gapped up a little bit, but the thing to keep in mind is that whenever you're dealing with AMAT, like I said, you're dealing with all the other chip manufacturers. But if you're trading SOXL, which is the semiconductor ETF, AMAT has like a 4% holding in that. They have a little bit less than NVIDIA,
Okay.
but about the same as AMD. So if you're trading
Okay.
SOXL, just be aware that there was a gap. So if you were in a call credit spread on in SOXL, I'm letting you know that AMAT gap up may have caused SOXL to gap up,
Mm-hmm.
and depending on where you were, possibly go through this. So definitely check SOXL because AMAT did gap up.
Okay. All right. I put SOXL on our list to look at this morning. Thank you for that. Appreciate it because you know what? You are quite useful. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
Anytime, anytime, anytime. Okay, let's look at what Adam had to say this morning. Yesterday, I was looking for a squeeze in SPX with 55.35 to 40, 55.65 macro target. I warned every hour to hold your longs. Overnight, we hit 55.64 and sold. Decision time. 55.30 to 28 is support. It's weaker. Must hold to keep run going direct to 55.57, 55.65, 55.80 plus. If 55.28 fails, then we finally dip to 55.08, right? So the gap between ES and SPX is about 20 again. So if you're following Adam on Twitter during the day, just know that there's a 20-point gap between those two. He trades ES. Many of us trade SPX, right? XSP, if you're trading that, you got 558 on the call credit spread side, and you got 550 on the put credit spread side. All right, there is that. Good morning, Ward. Hey, Drew. How we doing? Hey, Stacy. Good morning, people. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so that's Adam's stuff. Next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we are having the options 411 for newbies 3-day challenge. We're going to have the 3-day challenge next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you're going to come, you were looking to learn options, but you're not really sure where to start or who to start with. You don't want to put a bunch of money on the table, but you want to find out what there is to find out. You want a straightforward way that you're working with, working with options or learning options. Here we go. Right. So what's in options 411? You're going to learn the basic options lingo, terminology, whatever language, all the stuff. You're going to learn that. What broker is best for your trading, depending on what you're doing. Many people really like Robinhood, and I'm a fan of Robinhood, but it's useful for a lot of things, but it's not useful for everything. Okay, it's got some drawbacks as well. Hey, Miss Barbara, what kind of account do you need when you're trading options? How do you make money trading? How do you make some money? Because really what we're here for is to make money. We're not just here to be saying I'm a trader. We're here to make money trading, right? How can the charts help me to make even more money? And the last thing here, which I cannot see because that is in the way. There we go. How do you get started? How do we get started with, like, what's my first few steps? What's my quick start guide? How do I get started quickly? You can go to educatortotrader.com and get registered August 20th through 22nd. If you don't need this information, but you know somebody who does, send them our way. I give affiliate money. I give $20 out of the 97 to anybody who suggests to somebody else that they should come. I share the wealth. Listen, tell people that we're over here, and I'll take care of you people. I promise. I promise I will not, misuse your folks if you send them my way. Okay. There we go with that. Let's see. I think from there, we're ready to go to the charts. Yes, we are. We are. Okay. Let's go to the charts this morning. I want us to make sure that we look at today, probably sometime today, we will look at the alerts bot to see, not the alerts bot, the trend alerts from Peakbot. Here we go. To see what of the trades we should put on for next week. Of course, as a seller, we like having the weekend to help theta D for us. We like that. We like that. My EMPH trade, my fault. I'm gonna call it my fault because when my EMPH trade was down, it was over 50% ready, but it wasn't 70% ready. I left it one more day, and my one more day ended up being yesterday, and my EMPH trade ended up getting breached. I think it's at 117, and my strike is at 116 or something like that. And I don't know if EMPH is going to pull back now that, all this bullishness is in the market, but I don't know if that's enough reason for me to go on back to my 50% closure, but it might be. Like if it get close, sis, go ahead and let it go. I think you gotta let it go. Okay, this is AMAT. AMAT is with its earnings really did kind of have a drop last candle of the day, and it has stayed and hovered down in here around the 205 area. It has been in, and it's where it is right now. It closed. Well, I don't know if that was the close. Let's go see, because that might have been the post candle. AMAT had a green day yesterday, so it actually closed at 211, and now it's at 205. So it dropped back into this daily gap. It dropped back into that daily gap. Now in the pre-market, it has come back into this gap. I need to put, I can't see it here. I need a volume. I need something that includes my volume, and I don't see that now. Okay, I wanted to do something before I get too far and I forget. Let me go over here. I'm going to put AMAT. This is Thinkorswim, by the way. I did a whole video yesterday telling the folks in my community about this new thing in Thinkorswim, and then the video was recorded but didn't have no sound. Like, what in the world? I did this whole video, and Jamie, of course, was like, I'd love to know what this great feature is, but I can't hear anything. So what is the good feature? Anyway, the people. It's always the people. Over here to the right, if you're in Thinkorswim and you're on the desktop app, this does not show up on your phone or your iPad app. It doesn't. So over here to the right, where it says I'm on the chart here, right? The chart is lit up. I can also now select option chain. I can select option. Guess what? The option chain shows up here at the bottom. Lordy, the option chain shows up at the bottom. So you don't have to keep going back and forth between chart and trade because if you trade on this platform, which I do, charts is one thing I'm looking at, and then trade I'm looking at. But let's say I'm looking at the chart, but I want to be able to see when is the time I want to enter my trade, like right off rip. I'm looking here to see, okay, the chart just did what I wanted to do. Now I'm ready, pop. I can just pick what I want real quick. And then let's say I was picking this, I was picking an ask. The next thing is going to pop up is the screen for the order. Notice the chart is still up here though. The chart is still up. So even if I just want to hold this screen while I'm looking to see that it does what I'm expecting it to keep doing, then I go ahead and enter the trade right here. All on one screen, Jesus. AMAT. Okay, enough. Okay, let's go because we've seen AMAT. But yes, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. And so the option chain is here. You don't have to leave it here. If you don't want it, you can always turn it off. And then all you have is the chart. All right. But having that option chain right there on the chart at the same time. Yes. Do y'all see how this is a positive thing? I'm excited. Do y'all see why you should be excited about that? You should be. If you're not, you should be excited about that. Okay. In case you're not, you should be. If you're not, you ought to be. Okay. SMCI is up here on the daily chart. We're looking at SMC. I need to change to, let me go back to Trading View because I got all kinds of stuff on that Thinkorswim chart that will have me and y'all confused. SMCI currently in the pre-market is at 625.98. Definitely on an upwards ride here. SMCI it's been on a downward trend though. If you're looking here, it's been on a downward trend, but I believe we did a turnaround, and then now we're coming into a gap. back into the gap that was created early August, right? This was August the 1st. There was a gap between the 1st and the 2nd, and the price is trying to come back into that gap. Looking at the choices within the semiconductor space, of course, everybody looks at NVIDIA because they're like the one everybody talks about, but there's so many other good places to trade. So AMD being one. I would say Intel. I hesitate to say because Intel can't seem to get out the gates, can't get out the starting blocks real good. But I believe Intel is a player, right? We just talked about AMAT. We just talked about Taiwan Semiconductors, SOXL. There's lots of other things that you can do, that you can trade, that are going to grow and could potentially grow just like NVIDIA. Now, do I think NVIDIA will grow back to its big size? Yeah, I do. I think it will, right? I really do think it will. All right. All right. So this was SMCI. SMCI, if I was trading here, I probably would continue to do put credit spreads. The pivot point here is at 583. And if you're looking for something going into next week, let's go to our trade here, SMCI. Of course, none of this stuff I say is investment advice, but I would like for you to be able to look and know what you're looking for. What you're looking for. Plus or minus 53. Oh, that's SMCI. Yes, plus or minus 53 on the plus minus number. I'm looking for next Friday, right? Because it's Friday. We look for next Friday. So if we're looking in the 70s, probability out of the money, or in at least 53 points away, you're down in like the 580, 582 area, 582.5. Of course, you want to look at this stuff when the market is open, but 582.5 to 580, that's paying about $50, and the market's closed right now, but the numbers will be similar. So that's about a 20% return on that 2.5 spread, right? If you pull in $50 off the 2.5 spread, that's 20% return. I'm a fan of closing things between 50 and 70%. So you would keep about $30 out of that $50 in premiums. And then that's over 10% you're going to keep out of this trade. And then you put your money onto the next thing. Let theta help you over the weekend. Okay, let theta help you over the weekend. What is a microchip? Microchip. Oh, MCHP, microchip technology, MCHP. They also they were one of the big movers, probably because of AMAT. This is $80-something is microchip technology. Anybody ever looked at microchip? I have not. MCHP. Maybe Jamie can tell us a little bit about microchip. The moving average is now going back up in
what you want to know?
What do they do? Who, like you just told us about AMAT, tell us about microchip.
They're a little bit, they do what's called microcontrollers, which is like think in terms of maybe stuff dealing with like radio frequencies, USBs, connectivity, like wireless connectivity type stuff. They do a whole bunch of stuff, but a lot of their stuff is basically add-ons to, whatever's going on with your semiconductor, I guess is a good way to say it. But they're called mixed signal microcontrollers. And they do it like they do stuff like this automotive, industrial, computers. They just not limited to the tech sector, but that also means, of course, that it's going to go across the board in terms of wireless connectivity, security stuff. Anything with a semiconductor, they probably got something that they can add on to it for things related to connectivity, basically. So, but yeah, they got memory. I think they do memory not memory cards for like your computer, but memory related stuff for semiconductors as well.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
they're kind of concentrated on semiconductors in terms of what they're adding on to, but of course semiconductors are like in everything. So that's a my understanding of what they do. Their side of it is basically like when once you start talking about like analog, digital, mixed signal, high voltage, you start seeing them type of terms, metal oxide. That's when they lose me. So I'm like, okay, y'all a little bit deeper than what I'm used to dealing with. So,
Okay.
but I know that they do the stuff with microcontrollers for sure.
Okay. Cool. Cool. I want this to give me more data. Looking at the volume in the pre-market, but for microchip. Okay. Don't try to go down no rabbit holes in the morning because you can. This is microchip. I was looking at it. If we're looking from it's a monthly though. Microchip is a monthly. It's going to expire today, and then it's going to be set for next month. So if we're looking at put credit spread based on what I see in the chart, and see if we go to the daily here, based on what I see in the chart, probably would go on to the inside up. Yep, would go on up to come on. There we go. Definitely is on an upwards run. It's looking to fill the rest of this gap up to 84.29. So if we're going with that, some kind of put credit spread shorter term, well, the month, which I'm not really a fan of monthlies, but if it's going to provide its move in a shorter order, I'm cool with that. Looks like 72.575. Again, I'm not a fan of the monthlies because it takes too long for the data to draw down unless the price moves. 72.575 is paying $45. So that's almost 20% return, but it's a monthly expiration. All right. So just trade accordingly. Trade accordingly. I wanted to look at SOXL, which we haven't looked at SOXL in a while. Last night when we were on our call, I mentioned to my folks the information about sector rotation. And I put in stuff about sector rotation. Let me see if I can find that graphic because I want to hear from the community what you feel and where we are in this little space here. Where are we? Can I get this to move? Let's see. Yep, there we go. Based on what y'all know and you've seen, where would you say we are on this in this dealio? I'm opening here so I can see the comments. When I look, I feel like we're over in this space. Early recession, healthcare, utilities, finance. I don't know if we're late bear market. Looks like we're kind of bull market-ish. Yeah, but full recession, according to, depends on who you ask, whether we're in a full recession or not. Early recovery, are we in early recovery from a full recession? Have we seen a market bottom? Thoughts? Nobody's putting any comments. Y'all just processing like me? I'm just processing. But this is sector rotation, depending on where you are. Market top. We've been at the top. I mean, we're in the 5,500s, 54, 5,500s as far as the market goes. So we really could kind of be market. We're the highest we've been. So could we go with staples, basic materials, and energy?
I need to break down on what I'm actually looking at right now.
Okay. I can't break.
Say it again.
I said I can't do the breaking.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, I see market bottom, market top. So finance, technology, industrial. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I can't be the one to make a comment on this until I process what I'm looking at. But I do understand why. I visually can see what people are saying when they call it a sector rotation. What I wish we could do is figure out if whether or not this is tied into monthly cycles or business quarters. So let's say market bottom traditionally, finance, technology, and cyclicals happens in, let's say, the second business quarter or something like that.
I feel like this is not time related. It's
No, no,
not based
no,
on the time of the year. I think it's based on what the economy and the market is doing. So they could
no,
this
no. I get that. I'm
okay.
saying that I wish it was tied to time
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think it's tied to time.
because that would make it a little bit easier to, track even when we're trading.
Yeah.
Like if we know usually in March it'll be, these sectors, then we can kind of
Yeah.
trade those
Yeah, I
sectors.
don't
If
think
that
it
makes
goes
sense.
like that. I feel like this goes with, I know that this goes with different things as it pertains to the economy and such. But this means that, as we know more about the economy and what's going on in the markets, then we can determine where would we be rotating? Where would things be rotating into? I just think this is a good thing to have. Again, it's in our Telegram. So interesting stuff. SOXL. I wanted to make sure I showed that because I didn't want to forget that either. Okay, I need to start moving us forward. Okay, so this is SOXL. All of the charts for the semiconductors do seem to look very similar. They all had a fall off, front row, and then they ran back up. So here we are. This is the gap way up here. Now the SOXL can't get to it. Just saying, it's way up here. Come on, let's come on out a little bit. Just wanted to put it on my chart. There is also one here that has not been filled. Okay. Little bitty gap that's down here too that has not been filled. SOXL. I would still be currently I would be bullish on SOXL, on semiconductors in general, because it just seems like that is a space of high interest and great pop and popularity. Okay, we've got some support right in here, the 3530 area. There's some support, and then you got here right at this pivot point, you also have some support. And then if you go to the third one, right down in the 28, you got support. Resistance at 44.18 in that area. And there's also some resistance there's a few of them, 41.84. And anywhere you see peaks and valleys, currently where we are, 39.92, there was also resistance, and looks like the market SOXL actually hit that place and then is pulling back a little bit in the pre-market. Right. But from what I see, I would look to see something that would be still bullish for me based on what I can see here. If we were looking to see what would be good SOXL going forward, I don't know. Does SOXL pull out good premiums? We used to trade it all the time. I haven't traded it in a while. If we're looking for next Friday, about 75% would be 34.35. Somewhere in there, plus minus 5. Yep, that's accurate. So 34.35.
Very decent
$18.
premium.
What's the premiums?
Very decent premiums, in my opinion.
Okay. Looks like 34.35 is paying $18. That's about 18%, which is really good for one side. For one spread, that is good premiums. I agree. SOXL 34.35. 34.35. Yeah, Jamie was talking something. What he's saying is kind of like seasonality, and we do look at seasonality, so that's definitely something that we check out. But this that sector rotation is not based on the season. It's based on what's happening in the world and the economy. When I say the world, in our economy, that's what's there. All right. Looking at our freebies, the free resources, E2T dash freebies, all the free resources that have been created by moi to help traders do a better job of trading, right? Charting, I am convinced, is a big deal, right? For a long time, I was not convinced it was a big deal, and I didn't treat it like a big deal. Then I started doing it more and was like, oh, this really is a big deal. So if charting is not a big deal to you yet, you need to adjust your thinking. Okay, charting cheat sheet. Now, the good thing about charting for selling, it's not as intense as it is for buying, but it's still necessary. It's still a necessary thing. You do need to chart. So the free cheat sheet here, you can go ahead and grab that. If you really want to get a little deeper into charting, and you should, you can go to this free webinar here, The Secret to Maximizing Your Profits. You can go get this free webinar. YouTube channel, 7 mistakes traders make that keep them from 7 figures. Actually, there's about 10 mistakes in there. 0 DTE strategy cheat code is there. The best trading strategy for your personality and your life. Stock options for beginners, a quick start guide, the E2T website where all the training, all the good stuff that I do is there. E2T membership. I want to talk about this real quick. The E2T membership includes the morning calls, the weekly trainings, monthly coachings, all the stuff, the Telegram, everything that y'all hear me mention, it's all in there. When you're a member of mine, then any other program that I put on, if I do the 3-day challenge like I'm doing next week, when I do the program that will follow that challenge, actually we're putting on a mentorship that's going to be after that for the rest of the year. And when you join those things, if you're a member, you automatically have access to that stuff. All right. I take my members with me where I go. My members go with me. So you join up for the membership and you get access to all the stuff I talk about, all the stuff that I do, anything I see, and you have access to me. You get to ask questions. You get to say, I'm stuck on how to exit this trade. Should I exit now? What do I do? What buttons do I push? Those are the things you get in the membership. I dare you not try to call up somebody like an Adam Mancini or a Wall Street Trapper or anybody else, a Terry Igioma, and say, can you help me exit this trade? Because they will not. All right. They will not unless you're in their membership and you're in their group, you will have access to them. But if you just a random person on a YouTube video, they're not going to answer those questions. Okay, just so you know, that was no slight and no shade against any of those people or anybody else in this space. I'm just saying, when you're in the community, you get certain access that you don't get if you're not. All right, that's what I was saying about that. 5 hacks for trading SPX is here. Join the Facebook group. If you want to join our Facebook group, you can go ahead and get access to that. Just go ahead and click get access and I will check out your information and let you in. And if you want to be a part of my big Telegram group, you can also come here and join the community. All righty. Again, that was absolutely no shade. I just was saying that it's any of them. I could have called a bunch of names. And if you're not a part of their community or their inner circle, they're not answering those onesie questions like, how do I pick what I want to pick? How do I get out? Do I get out? What buttons do I push? What do I put on my chart? There's nobody there to answer all those things. But in our community, we're there. Somebody's there. I'm there. Jamie's there. The people in the community are there to answer your questions and help you along the way, along the way. Yeah, we need help along the way. Most people, trading is a lonely thing, but you need help along the way. What button do I push? That's what we need to know sometimes is what button do I push? Because, or what video do I go next? Because you can have a lot of stuff and you don't know where I want to learn so-and-so, but I don't know where to go next. Anyway, if you're really wanting to, when I'm about 5 minutes out, so I must keep going. Options 411 for newbies. If you're new here, what's your learning journey? Right? Startwiththechart.com is a free webinar, trading strategies for you.com. And then you lean into specific strategy. And you can go learn these all, right? You can go and do videos on them all to see which one really suits you and suits your life. Credit spreads, debit spreads, call, cash secure puts, and covered calls. Everything is at educatortotrader.com. Starting Monday, our morning call will be at 9:30 a.m. School starts for me on Monday. The university is starting again on Monday, and I'll be teaching from 8 to 9:15. teaching the babies. There ain't babies from 8 to 9:15. So we will do our call at 9:30 starting on Monday. We're going back to our pre-summer hours. After that, from about 9:30 to 10:15, we'll be on there because I teach again at 10:30. Okay. Yeah, she's singing. She's singing. E2T declaration. I declare I'm a great trader. I declare I'm a successful trader. I declare I'm a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses. My accounts grow more and more each week. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I always make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. I declare I'm a level-headed trader who does not trade my emotions. Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get wealth. You teach our hands to war and our fingers to fight. Help us today to trade wisely and strategically. Give us more than enough so we can have what we need and enough to be a blessing to others. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, amen. Okay. Jesus, be a trader all around me every day. Yes, Jesus, I need you to protect me as I trade in all the ways. I know you can. I know you will. Look after my trade. If I just keep still. Oh my goodness. Okay. See, I will make it. I'll write a whole new song. Y'all will be like, what is she talking about? What is she singing? Jesus, be a fence all around my trade today. Okay, listen, I need to go. It's 9:27. I want you all to do two things. Jamie, I want you to say anything you want to say before I close the door.
Stay green and get this money.
That's what we want to do. We want to stay green and get this money. All right, everybody. I will see you in the market. Be sure to like and subscribe and check us out in all the places on the social media ports. All right. The choir is here today. Yes. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all in the market. Bye, everyone.